All right, we should be live.
Dear God, I hope so. We've put a lot of work into this.
Yeah. We'll see. We should already seen. Yep, we're live.
All right, we are live. Woo!
Yeah. So, welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 25.
That's right. Made it all the way to episode number 25. And I'll say this, I couldn't think of a good title for this one. I really couldn't.
Didn't have any time.
Yeah. The life of a commuter.
Yep. But hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
No, you're right. You're right. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I'm tweeting. Yeah. All right. So we definitely have something out there to show that, we are live right now.
Okay.
Promote it to the people. And I'm also watching myself on a tape delay, which is a wild concept right now.
All right. I mean, I think I spend half the time we record watching ourselves on tape delay.
Are we live right now?
Yeah.
All right, just make no. You see, there's a joke of it. So, I really don't appreciate this, but all right. So what do we? This is In the Tunnel.
If you couldn't tell by
25th
then.
week doing 25th episode. Week of doing it. As you can tell, off to our best start yet.
Never
so
better.
Yeah, we got Sean on the ones and twos.
All right, well, let's stop procrastinating.
Oh, come on. All right, let's do it. Fine.
Yeah, so what do you want to start with?
Let's just get football out of the way since it's going to be,
Fair enough.
Just all sorts of fun to talk about.
All right, so AFC, Chiefs clinch a playoff spot. That's it. Done.
Well, yeah, that and the Chargers have clinched now, too.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Because they played last night.
Yeah, they played the KC, right?
Yeah, beat the Chiefs.
Right. Nobody else is clinched, but Houston's at 9-4. Patriots are 9-4.
The AFC West has clinched, and the rest of the AFC playoff picture is to be determined.
Yeah.
So,
especially with the Patriots losing last week.
Yeah. So you had your Miami Miracle. Everybody had a friend who found a video of it, like I sent to Sean the video after it happened, and just everybody had a friend who sent the video of the Miami Miracle to somebody, so the whole world knows about it. It is one of those things because the Patriots seemingly always lose in Miami and then win against everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere else. So it doesn't really matter. It's kind of a game that you can throw out every year. But if you're a Dolphins fan, it's one of those games that keeps you in the hunt.
Right. I mean, they're 7-6.
Yeah, 7-6. And I think the big takeaway for me from the Miami Miracle is because you see the whole lateral play all the time at the end of the game where they're you're not in Hail Mary distance. So you have to run that kind of play. I think the thing that I take away from it is sometimes less is more. Less laterals opened up the field for that particular instance. Whereas when you're just getting rid of the ball, the second you see a defender instead of trying to break one, if you have the confidence in the ability to break one, definitely have a backup plan. When you're, halfway to the ground and get rid of it. But if you can stay on your feet, then, sometimes don't get it to the offensive tackle, try to pick up a block and move.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that the way they executed that for how, crazy it was really good.
Well, I look, probably every team practices a lateral play. But let's look at the fact. Let's look at who they involved in it. So obviously they had the pass. So it can look quarterback. If you want to hit that semantic, then yeah, quarterback. But they threw to a wide receiver, lateral to another wide receiver, then a running back. So the awareness of the players involved to improvise where they were going to go on the field, and they had arguably their best skill players in the offense all within, within 10 yards of each other, ready to,
Right.
pick up the slack. You didn't have to get it to an offensive lineman or anything, which is, if you're another team, you probably look at that and you say, well, yeah, it was luck. But at the same time, it takes some kind of strategy to be able to put your 3 skill players on 2 wide receivers and your starting running back on the same side of the field for that play.
Right. I mean, that was like the notable thing, and that keeps them in the hunt because they're 7-6, tied with the Ravens, Colts, and Titans. Is it?
Yeah. And look, I mean, every any person in sports media has said this already. Why the heck was Gronk a safety on a play? Like the excuse that they said after the game was it was in a Hail Mary situation. If you look at the box score, it was a near 70-yard play.
That's not a Hail Mary situation.
And Ryan Tannehill was a converted wide receiver to quarterback in college. So I'm guessing he doesn't have the gunslinger arm that throws it 75 yards.
Yeah, like it would have been.
And even then, the amount of time you would have had to have in the pocket with less offensive linemen because you're sending everybody you can down the field, that throw would have never gotten in the air.
Yeah, and also like it's not just a 70-yard throw at that point, right? Because he has to step back, and if he's going to buy time, he's taking a long drop.
Yeah, and basically for the defense, like
you're looking at like a 80-some yard actual like air time, like air throw
with the trajectory.
Yeah,
but Gronk are not back in the defense. It's no. Hear me out. It's the easiest play for the defense, like 70 yards. I mean, any Hail Mary, it's like you know where they're going with the ball. All you have to do is follow the guys.
Yeah.
70 yards later, it's kind of like all you really have to do is be the better conditioned guy down the field.
I mean, really, you just have your 2 deep safeties anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that ball was more. If it was a Hail Mary, that ball is more likely to land at like the 10-yard line than anywhere else near the end.
Right, but I mean, why would you put Gronk back there? Like your defense,
especially a Gronk that was out recently. Like he was out for like 3 weeks. But and I get that. I think he played the week before, but still.
But
like I know that you guys don't have tall wide receivers in New England, but like.
But Gronk my point is
not known for speed.
Pay your defense to do something, right? Your safeties and corners are there for speed.
Yes.
Why absolutely. Are you putting Gronk?
Yeah.
You need an extra linebacker, then maybe, but you're never putting a linebacker in a Hail Mary.
No, I mean, the Patriots are smart enough to not put Gronk at linebacker.
Yeah, but I mean,
look how often he gets injured.
But that's like his build. He's more of a. If you were to relate into a defensive position, you wouldn't choose safety or corner.
I'd actually choose D-line.
Nah.
Just because linebackers aren't that tall.
Yeah, true. But I mean, I just don't think he's.
Oh, no. In terms of like his body shape, no, he's not a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
But he's not any defensive position at that size.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, like, why? It doesn't make sense to not put your deep safeties and your faster corners there. Like, even a wide receiver before Gronk, because they just need to reach up and bat the ball down. Like, come on.
I don't know. But the Miami Miracle game did spring into a trend of everybody in the AFC losing. Mm-hmm. So the Patriots lost, then the Texans lost to the Colts. The Colts, who are sneaky in this thing now. Because they're probably not going to take over the Texans spot unless they lose out. But
No.
at 7-6 and playing a pretty darn good second half, you never know.
Yeah, so I mean, the one thing I take away from the standings, though, is that Pittsburgh has that one tie, and that's saving them from the current record, because otherwise they'd be tied
but
with
the Ravens lost too.
Yeah, but they'd be tied. So
yeah,
you're like, at this point, you guys lost. Like, you guys played first, right? So you guys lost, then the Ravens played.
No, the Ravens-Chiefs game was at 1 o'clock. The Steelers was at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Which, of course, the Steelers would go into a team that's tanking stadium and lose.
Yep.
But in my defense, the Oakland Coliseum, like, there's been articles about how, like, they just have sewage leaking everywhere. So field conditions, they cover up a baseball field. And they're slipping all over the place. And you mean to tell me that, that something wasn't going to go wrong? I mean, that's classic Steelers.
You're literally playing a 2-10 team at that point, I think.
Since when have the Steelers not played down to a bad team? They've done it all the time. The last time they went to play the Raiders in Oakland, like, Terrell Pryor was the quarterback of the Raiders and ran like a 95-yard touchdown. That's when they still have Polamalu.
Can't do that.
No, you can't, but it's the classic Steelers.
Yeah.
And now we have to play the Patriots and the Saints in the next 2 weeks. 2 games that we will not win. And I say that hoping that we're wrong. I'm hoping for the reverse jinx. And then we play the Bengals in the last week, which I'm sure they're going to injure half the team too. So it's a delight for sure. Honestly, I've had family, friends, and just general consensus on social media. The Steelers probably don't deserve to be in the playoffs with how they've played the past few weeks, which is a shame because the middle of the season they played so great and they were 7-2-1. But you can't lose 3 straight and then.
Yep.
And I'm getting really sick and tired of Ben not taking responsibility for things. The guy's like 37 years old. He's blaming receivers for everything. He's blaming, X-ray machines for standing on the sidelines. It's like, come on, Ben. You've played through pain before. I don't want to hear crap about how you were kept out of the game for a rib injury. Like, you've played with no feeling in your legs before.
Get older. Happen.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, I think we should move on to the NFC.
Yeah, definitely not triggered.
So in the NFC, you got 2 teams at 11-2 that have clinched their division. The Saints and the Rams.
Yeah.
Then you have the Bears at 9-4. The Cowboys.
The Dallas Stars.
Cowboys.
Hockey team in the NFC.
At 8-5.
I mean, in your defense, Dallas probably should not have 2 sports teams that have a star logo.
Hey. And I follow
really original.
More, so.
Really original.
Anyway, so yeah, those are the current division leaders, right? And then you have the Seahawks at 8-5 in the wild card, and the Vikings at 6-1.
Okay, so the 6th seed in the NFC is like the most wide open thing.
Yeah.
Just because, unfortunately, it's going to be a team that, doesn't really deserve to make it, will make it.
Yeah.
Because look at who's in the hunt: 6-7 Redskins, Eagles, and Panthers.
Right.
So you can, like, the only thing keeping the Vikings in is that they have the tie.
Yep.
But that's the only thing also keeping them from having a losing record.
Right.
Or a winning record. You could flip that coin whichever way you want. But the fact of the matter is, it could be one of those things where, like, way back in 2010 when, like, it was either the Rams or the Seahawks when they were both like 8-8 or 7-9.
Yep.
Like, one of those two could get in, and it's a losing record. And you don't like to see that, but at the same time, when it gets to actual playoffs, it makes it highly entertaining. to see a
Yeah,
team
but,
that
like,
really didn't deserve to be in.
I hope that one of the teams, like, I mean, it's a crapshoot. Like, I hope the NFC, I hope the Eagles or Redskins don't get in, because that division has been just crap all season.
Look, I hate to say this because I'm anti-Panthers down here in North Carolina, but the Panthers lost to the Browns. Now I get
You
that the
guys
Browns.
lost to the freaking Raiders.
Okay, you know what? We're on the NFC.
Yes, but the Browns at least had like a pretty
Hey,
decent record for being the Browns, and coming this season they've been pretty
hey,
good.
hey, hey, hey. I was about to say, I know the Browns are improving, but the fact of the matter is the Panthers may be the team that's colder than the Steelers right now. They've lost way too many games in a row now to be considered the solidified contender that they were early in the season.
Yeah.
And now I just don't buy that they're going to be in.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I don't believe that Kirk Cousins is a quality quarterback to the point where he belongs in the playoffs. I think he's overpaid and overvalued.
Right.
So in that respect, I have to root for somebody else to be in.
And it's going to be the Eagles or the Redskins, you're saying? They play each other, so one of them is definitely out.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past the Eagles, but at the same time, it's the NFC East. Rarely does the team that won the division or made the playoffs the year before make it twice in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't happen in the NFC East. It's always, rotating. So,
right.
Sure. I guess it'll be the Giants if it's going to rotate like that. How funny is it to look at this graphic that we have up in front of us and to see that the Falcons, Buccaneers, Lions, Giants, and Packers are all still, quote unquote, in the hunt. The Falcons, who don't even have a defense and have lost 9, they can't even secure a winning or 8-8 season anymore, and they're still not out of it, despite the fact that they could lose out and be like a top 5 pick.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, so let's get to actual contenders. First of all, I think the Bears 9-4 does not speak to how good they are. I know they lost to the Giants with Trubisky out, but look at what their defense did to the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very impressed with that. And I don't know, the Cowboys just keep winning.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's Dak Prescott, and you think that at some point it's all going to like unravel late in the game because he's a game manager quarterback. So I don't know. It feels like something's bound to happen soon. And the Saints are the Saints. Right. Is there really anything else that needs to be said?
No. I have nothing else.
Okay. Good stuff, Sean. All right. So you want to move it on to your sport of expertise?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like the divisions are finally like shaping up to how they'll be, as much as I don't like it, because the Lightning are pretty well pulling away from the rest of their division. Even the Maple Leafs, to an extent, they have a 9-point lead. Is it 8-point lead?
Well, you have to think that the Lightning's 8-game win streak has something to do with that.
Yeah, but even without the 8-game win streak, right? They just don't seem to lose games in a row. Like, they only have 7 losses and 1 overtime loss, and I don't think that they were like on a losing streak at any point. And even though like the Maple Leafs are doing great, you just can't say that about them. I do know like they have lost 2 in a row at least, and I just haven't seen that type of performance. Like, the Lightning are bouncing back better to losses. They seem like they're all in sync. Whereas the Maple Leafs, they just got Nylander back, sure, but you got to think it'll also take him some time. I know he got his first point on his game back, but that doesn't say anything. You got to string it together.
Yeah, absolutely. And was it the Sabres still sitting pretty in third? Because for them, that is sitting pretty.
Well, I mean, they're only 1 point behind the Maple Leafs right now, and that's better than sitting pretty.
Yes, I think come playoff time, I think the Bruins are still their roster is good enough to where that third spot has some competition to it.
Yeah,
Because the Bruins are only 4 points up behind right now, but that
and
doesn't
they
really
have a
mean
game
anything.
in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although, did the Sabres play tonight?
I'm not sure.
Because I know that the Penguins beat the Bruins.
They might not have a game in hand.
Well,
I didn't get
let's
to.
find out.
Didn't get to look at the games today. So
Let's find out.
yeah.
Ooh, look, we're ahead of the Islanders now.
Yeah. So I mean,
so Buffalo still has 42 points. Boston 38 still.
yeah. So I mean, that division, like, I do feel like there is a clear like top half and bottom half now, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can definitely differentiate the Canadians, Senators, Panthers, and Red Wings from the rest of the division.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't necessarily fully include the Canadians yet, only because they are only 1 point behind the Bruins, and even though I've seen lapses in their game, I don't necessarily think you can say that those lapses were consistent. Like the Red Wings, they play consistently bad. The Senators, I mean, we shouldn't even need to talk about them. And the Panthers are just having a terrible year, whether it be like injury and just overall performance.
Yeah, but I mean, the Panthers are one of those teams that like comes up from the surface every 3 years and then sinks right back down.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm just saying, I don't think you can fully include, like, the Canadians are really the only bubble team. Like, will they get it all together and be able to be in the top five, like, the top part of their division?
They always seem to be a team that's like their roster and performance is on the fringe, or like has the potential to be on the fringe. But I think they're past the point where like they could be considered for a President's Trophy. Like I think they're years removed from that.
I don't think I'm not thinking about President's Trophy. I'm just thinking about like how they feel in the division. Like they are pretty middle of the pack right now. They're only 1 point behind the Bruins, so I don't think you can remove them from or stop talking about them in the division. Let's say like
they're definitely a high scoring team, but they've also given up 105 goals.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you, but also like.
Yeah.
When you're talking like Red Wings, Senators, and Panthers, they just play like at a consistently down level that I'm sorry, but next year you better hope next year is better.
All right, but let's take a look. I just found a statistic trend here in this division, where you can definitely see that good goaltending. I mean, we know that wins games, but if you look at the top four in goals allowed, under 100 for the Lightning, Maple Leafs, Sabres, and Bruins.
Right.
The Bruins, amazingly, have only given up 79 goals so far. But if you look at the bottom four, every team has given up 105 plus goals on the season.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I'm just saying that the Canadians, like, their entire team has performed, even Carey Price to an extent, that if they get it together, like, sure, they've given up 105 goals, but they've scored 103, and I think that's good enough for fourth in their division.
Random question: are you surprised that Carey Price hasn't been traded yet in his career?
His contract is too bloated. Nobody's going to take it.
True. You got a good point. That was a massive. Wasn't that like a 10-year deal or something?
8 years, 10 mil? 8 years, 10.6 mil? Or 10 years, 8.6 mil? I think it's 8 years, 10 mil.
Average.
I think it's 8 and 10. Yeah, it's just not worth it.
No, not for a goal.
Not even if the Canadians keep some of the money, which they won't.
Especially not in this point of his career.
Right. Well, I mean, he's just starting that contract this year.
Oh God! Didn't he sign that like 3 years ago?
Yeah, at least he's on the very early portion of this contract, so there's no way anybody's taking it. They're stuck with him.
Dear God! Imagine if he got
like-
so bad that he was the backup. They
I
just
mean,
have to straight up put him on on waivers.
and nobody would still take that contract.
Right, but at that point, then maybe have the ability to just outright release him or designate him, and hope that he accepts the designation.
Eh,
A little rehab stint or something. Get the mind right.
we'll see. Anyway,
I mean, not to say that he's at that point now, but at that contract.
yeah. Anyway, moving on.
All right. So you want to go Metro?
Metro is still a crapshoot, but I feel like you're finally seeing that the Capitals still mean some business. I mean, they're not as good as the top two of the Atlantic.
Oh yeah,
Or
it's
even
a
top
good
three of the
12-point difference.
Huh?
It's a 12-point difference, top of the Atlantic versus top of the Metro.
Right. But you're finally seeing the Hurricanes. They started off pretty well, but they're kind of mellowed out. They're a 500 team right now.
I mean, yeah, they're a rebuilding team.
Right. So
you're now starting to get the Hurricanes we expected to get.
yeah, but I mean, it's still entertaining. This division is still entertaining because anybody can still beat anybody, but the standings are now shaping up to where I don't think the bottom of the standings, I don't think you'll see much fluctuation. The Hurricanes shouldn't really move more than 1 or 2 spaces up. The Devils probably not going to move 1 or 2 spaces up.
We'll see.
I don't think you're going to
I'll be optimistic for you.
Please and thank you.
All right. It's the holiday season.
But in the Metro, at least, aside from the top 4, I would say, because I don't know about the Rangers still. Nobody's told Hank that they're supposed to tank. So at least I still see competition in the top 4, but I think the bottom 4 is going to start to shape out as themselves. You're not going to see much fluctuation.
But the thing is I'll agree with you on the top 3. And I'm not saying top 3 because the Penguins earned it now, just because the Islanders are a team that I can never fully get behind, that they're going to be in the playoffs until the puck drops for game 1 of the first round.
Yeah, but I'm saying
they're just a team that doesn't that stereotype is they don't belong. The mold is that they don't belong. I get they have Barry Trotz and all that stuff. I get they're playing fancy in 2 different home stadiums this year. But the Rangers are rebuilding, and they're tied for 4th in that division, and the Islanders are tied for 4th in that division with them. So my thing is, look, if you're only as good as a team that's supposed to be rebuilding right now, it's still hard for me to believe that spot is set.
Hold on, but they also they're supposed to have not been good either because they lost Tavares. You remember that?
Yeah.
They're not even supposed to be in this conversation, just like the Rangers.
Right, but at the same time,
I'm just saying,
hockey's not baseball, but at the same, it is one of those things where it's a sport where, yeah, a guy can contribute 30 goals, but not all of them are game-winning goals or tie-breaking goals.
Unless your name is Connor McDavid.
Right. So it's not like Tavares was winning the Hart Trophy every year either.
But what I'm saying is, just how they're playing. I know that the Rangers have just as many points, but the way the Rangers play and how they are currently playing is worse than the Islanders. I think, my opinion.
I mean,
and so
that's
I
still,
would lump.
That's still. I mean, that's fine, but that still is the numbers are the same.
But I would lump the Islanders with how they're playing with the top 4 of the division and the Rangers in the bottom. But I'm not going to count the Rangers as a bottom team yet because Hank is literally throwing them all on his back.
Yeah, and Kenrick is as long as I'm here, Or Henrik could be planning to get traded. Obviously, we haven't heard a rumor or seen
he's not
anything about
leaving.
him.
He's not
Well,
leaving.
I know he's not leaving, but if you're going to leave, you might as well leave on it, and get traded to a contender who needs goaltending.
Yeah, but if you just look at the other stats, right? Like the Islanders, they only scored 3 less goals than the Rangers, and they've given up
but the Rangers.
10 less.
I'll say this to I was about to say to your credit, the Rangers have given up 10 more goals,
and I think that's a team-wide thing. Like, sure, you can make the argument that those 3 goals are probably important, but it's a team-wide thing to have scoring that low in this league.
Yeah,
and that does a lot more for me than them being tied at the standing.
you're right. All right, let's move to Western.
All right, so Central, Preds are still at the top, Jets still at the top, Avalanche still at the top. I'm thinking those guys are gonna them and
It's
the
pretty
Wild.
solidified.
The Wild are probably gonna make a surge late in the season.
A surge that won't matter.
It might. I mean,
I mean when they're actually in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I don't see the Blues Blues and Blackhawks are done.
Yeah.
The only competition they have is with the Stars, and as long as the Wild just hover for now, they can beat the Stars out at the end of the season. They always make that end surge.
Yeah, the Stars don't ever stress goaltending. They don't. I mean, Lettinen and Khudobin is not a solidified goalie duo.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at their goals for, goals against the Stars, the goals against is a pretty decent number for goaltending.
It is. I just don't trust it yet.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying with the 32 games they have played, it's decent, and if they can keep it up,
it's definitely respectable. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying so far they've shown that they can do it, but
yes.
Can they keep it up through the rest of the season? And that's the big question mark.
That's to be determined.
Yeah. All right. So Pacific.
Yeah. So the Flames #1 still,
which is actually at the beginning of the season, I don't know how many people thought the Flames would be #1, but they're playing really well.
Yeah.
Nothing much to say about it. They're just playing really well. I like watching their games when I can, but it's hard with the time. Yeah, hard with the timing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Sharks, they finally kicked it into gear. They're #2.
Yeah. Oilers fell to 4.
Yep. Ducks are tied with them still. I don't know if they played tonight. I haven't been able to check the scores.
No, doesn't matter. We're on East Coast time.
And Oilers fell to 4, as you said.
Yep. Golden Knights made a little bit of a jump.
Yeah, I mean, with the Golden Knights, there's only 5 points separating all those teams, so I still think it's fairly wide open there. Yeah. I mean, the Canucks, Coyotes, and Kings. I mean, the Coyotes and Kings are pretty much done, but
yeah, if you want to throw the Canucks a bone, even though there's that rebuilding team still, and we say that a lot, but they really are in that middle spot where you can't put them one way or the other yet.
Yeah,
they still have a chance.
I mean, I'd expect.
I mean, they're not like the bottom 2 teams that have lost a combined, 4 games and 3 games in a row.
Yeah, and again, I just I have a soft spot for the Canucks this season. Their games are fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So
something about seeing the kids grow up.
Yeah, and the Oilers and Golden Knights. I mean, both of those teams, if they want to make any sort of impact, they got to start playing better. Even though they're in the middle of their division, you just need more production from people.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I've got nothing else to say on that one.
yeah, and the only thing else I wanted to bring up was like that the Sharks are, as I said when we were introducing them, the Sharks are finally kicking into gear, and like the defense is clicking, the offense is clicking, which is basically their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's good to see that too.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. You wanna?
Yeah, so I mean, just go through this MLB free agencies thing real quick because you know, it's still too early in free agency for like a ton to have gone down. But some minor moves, and we're not going to analyze them. We're just here to give you the news that you've already heard.
Mhm.
So apparently ESPN ranks the MLB free agents on the market, and I guess Patrick Corbin, who was a pitcher for the Diamondbacks, was the number 3 ranked, behind Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. He's with the Nationals now. He signed for 6 years, $140 million. Good contract if you can get it for a guy who's 29 and on the back end of his prime, or in the middle of his prime, I guess.
Yeah.
Josh Donaldson went to the Braves, 1 year, $23 million. Charlie Morton, Flemington native, went from the Astros to the Tampa Bay Rays, 2 years, $30 million.
Mhm.
Nathan Eovaldi went from the Red Sox back to the Red Sox for 67.5 over 4 years. Andrew McCutchen went from the Yankees to the Phillies, 3 years, $50 million. Lance Lynn, Yankees to Rangers, 3 years, $30 million. Let's see. Justin Smoke, Blue Jays still got his option picked up, so not really a free agency thing. Yankees kept CC Sabathia. Jesse Chavez goes to the Rangers.
Right.
Yours Familia back to the Mets.
3 years, 30.
$30 million for a closer that they let go pretty easily like last year.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising.
It's the Mets. He can't really explain that one.
Yeah.
Ian Kinsler went to the Padres, so his career's over. I mean, why else would he go to San
he's
Diego
on the back
from the
end
Red
of the
Sox?
career anyway, so he's
Yeah, I mean, he's 36.
yeah.
Joe Kelly went from the Red Sox to the Dodgers because if you can't beat them, take their money. Tyson Ross went from the Cardinals to the Tigers. Woohoo. Steve Pearce stayed with the Red Sox, and Paul Goldschmidt got traded to the Cardinals. So the NL Central will forever be a mountain that the Pirates can't climb because of their payroll. Lucky for everybody that the Cardinals aren't going to be good again.
Yep.
Yay. All right. You have anything to add there? You've been paying attention to baseball, any?
No. Did you mention that the Blue Jays released Tulowitzki, or did you not?
I did not. I went straight to the graphic, but yeah, the Blue Jays released Tulowitzki, and follow up to that, I guess someone out there with a blue check mark on Twitter seems to think that the Pirates would be a front runner for him. Don't know why Tulowitzki would ever take that little money. I guess the guy on Twitter was like, he's 34, and like on the back end, he's like, yes. So I guess that's the reason, because he's 34, he'll take like $8 million or less. Right. Got it.
No.
Let's see. And the Pirates unloaded $8.5 million on a contract of Ivan Nova to the White Sox, which will probably be the best offseason move that they make, because they got rid of $8.5 million in payroll space for a guy who has an ERA over 4.5. So, why pay that if you don't need to? And for some reason, the White Sox were like, "Hey, we'll take it on."
Good for them.
Don't know why.
Good for them.
Good. Everybody wins. All right.
All right.
So I did have one more thing, because it is college football bowl season. We're gonna have a little fun with this one, and so there's 1,000 different bowl games, and I'm not sure if you know this, but the student athletes, the players, participants, whatever you want to call them, of bowl games get gift packages for being in the bowl games. Now, some of these are really stupid, just like the names of the bowl. So we're going to go through some of them. It goes through some of the gift packages for these bowl games. And we're also going to like go through like the stupidest names of bowls.
I will let you pronounce the bowl game names because I don't even want to try.
Well, I think the fact that it's so hard to pronounce some of them just goes to show why they should not be called what they are. So, like, the Sharabundi, I could be saying that wrong, like, right off the bat. We're not even one in. The Sharabundi Boca Raton Bowl, which, you know, the high-flying package game of UAB, University of Alabama, Alabama at Birmingham versus Northern Illinois. So you get a drawstring backpack, not even a real backpack, and you get a beach towel because, you know, who doesn't have a nice beach in Alabama at Birmingham or Illinois? So, yeah. And, you know, I think that it's worth noting that pretty much over half of the college football bowl games, every player gets a football.
Yep.
Which is like just the stupidest thing ever. Like these guys who are belonging to college football programs that most of them have won 6 or more games and have practice facilities. These guys don't have access to footballs until like the last game of the season. Those seniors who are like, you know, they I guess just may never see one again.
I need that football, man.
Yeah, like some of them, like, you get a Wilson brand football, like the ones taking, it's like, oh, in comparison to what? Like the McGregor, like $3 out of the, like, bin in the middle of the aisle of, like, ShopRite or whatever grocery store ball. The one that has, like, the grip fade away after, like, 5 throws. So, yeah, it's like, really, these sponsors going all out. So you got the Jared Birmingham Bowl because nothing says Jared. I'm guessing it's the Jewelers sponsoring it, like the city of Birmingham. So you get Memphis versus Wake Forest. So you know, nothing says going all out like a jewelry sponsor and your gifts to the players. They get to choose a backpack or sunglasses. Not both. Only one or the other. You get a cooling hoodie, which I don't know what that is. Is it like just a hoodie with like short sleeves? And of course you get your football. You got the Belk Bowl. Belk is a southern store? Yeah, it's like the Kohl's of the South.
Okay.
So you get South Carolina versus Virginia on December 29th. Okay. So you know what says great student athlete prizes like a flashback to going back to school shopping with mom. You get to go on a shopping trip to a Belk department store. Because nothing says let's celebrate our season like going to a glorified Kohl's. The Nova Home Loans Arizona. So right then and there, Nova Home Loans, like not even student loans, like not even relatable for college students. Arkansas State versus Nevada. You know, they do have a nice package. You get a backpack with a external USB port. You get some Beats, a Fire Kindle, a hydro flask, a cooling. Again, I have no idea what a cooling towel is. And of course, what gift bag is complete without Frito-Lay's products in each gift bag?
Couldn't sponsor the bowl, so sponsored the product.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the sponsor of the bowl is the company. Let's give them some Frito-Lay's.
Yeah.
The Academy Sports Plus Outdoors Texas Bowl. So here we have a sponsor that's way too long and includes a math formula. December 27th, you have Baylor versus Vanderbilt. So you get a look. Let me first ask a question. Yeah, you get a question for this one though. Have you ever seen an Academy Sports and Outdoor store?
No.
Okay, so I'm guessing like if they don't have them in wherever Vanderbilt or Baylor is, this gift card is pretty much null and void. But they get a gift card, an Adidas backpack, and a belt buckle. And there's actually a picture, you can look it up. A gigantic belt buckle that says Texas Bowl on it, because what completes your wardrobe better than an oversized belt buckle the size of your waist that I don't know, if you're the team that loses the game, it's like that just goes straight in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
So you could probably pronounce this one. The New Mexico Bowl.
Yeah, I can pronounce that one. That's not that hard.
Not even a sponsor for this one, so it's great. They avoided the stupid name part. North Texas versus Utah State. So the players get they get a variety of things, but the noted thing that I found, they get a pen. So yeah, it's a really nice pen, but come on, it's 2018. Everybody's got a laptop and a tablet, and has like these student athletes submit all their stuff online on like Turn It In or on like a portal or something. You get a pen. I guess it's a good thing to remind yourself of, like, hey, I have this test that uses Scantrons. I can't use this cool pen. AutoNation Cure Bowl. Okay, first of all, there should not be a football game called the Cure Bowl, especially when concussions are still an issue. I get that Cure Bowl probably means something else, but the simple mind goes straight to cure, as in like curing a sickness. Tulane versus Louisiana. So the players get a DOP kit, which I guess it's a nickname for a toiletries bag, Sean.
Oh.
So,
what?
You only need to pack 95% of your bags to go to the Cure Bowl because they'll provide you with toiletries.
Okay.
So basically, you get to stay in your Best Western with your free toiletry bag.
Good for
them. Congrats on your season and having a winning record, more likely than not. So yeah, now we get the stupid bowl nicknames. So the Sharabundi or Charabundi, whatever you want to call it, the Boca Raton Bowl. I mean, that just sounds like stupid swampland. I don't know why that has a lot of appeal. The Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
That's a little bit of a handful to say, in my opinion.
It's a handful to say, and Bad Boy Mowers in itself. I'm sure they're a great company. I'm sure they make a fine product, but it's not Bad Boy Mowers for football, especially not between USF and Marshall. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
They're famous.
Why? Yeah, they're famous. Not famous enough for like us to really be reminded of it all the time. They're famous in the way that like an NFL running back, were as fans of whatever team that running back was on, was like, hey, did you see like 3 years ago, if he could get back to that form where he rushed for 1,000 yards, we'd be good. It's like, yeah, but it's not 3 years ago anymore. It's just this constant reminder of how good something is, but it's not really hyped up to be what it's overhyped, really.
Mm-hmm.
And the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl.
All right, so a county's credit union.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nothing says the holidays like the San Diego County Credit Union. Stand in line and fill out an account application.
And they get a game of Utah versus Northwestern.
Oh, there's
nothing
just so
says San Diego like Utah versus Northwestern.
There's just so many stereotypical jokes you could make with a Utah versus Northwestern matchup. The only thing better would have been if it was BYU versus Northwestern. But unfortunately, BYU's in the Potato Bowl, so you get all kind of interesting stuff during the holidays.
Yep.
So grab your beach towel, backpack or sunglasses and your pen and sit down and watch some football.
Also, your
This
toiletry
holiday
bag.
season with your family. What?
Your toiletry bag, whatever the heck it was called.
Oh yeah, toiletry. Your DOP kit
Yeah.
full of combs and toothpaste. Travel size probably too.
Right.
So yeah, just wanted to raise awareness on this kind of stuff.
All right.
You got anything else to add, Sean?
No.
Just kicking back over there, huh?
Yeah.
With your Yankees blanket.
In the background. Yep.
Yep.
I got nothing else to
All right.
add. You?
All right.
All right.
How's our revamp going? How's our new overlays coming along?
I'll get to that over the holidays.
Sounds good. It's the holiday season. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Well, no, it's just I've been working. So.
Well, yeah, I understand. Just
So.
thought I would ask.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
See you
Thanks for
guys next week.
watching or listening.
Woo!